skill. I work at the Oklahoma State Firefighters Museum, which is located in the same building as the Oklahoma State Firefighters Association. And today I'm here with John Martin, who has a really interesting story. You would like to just kind of introduce yourself, and we can just kind of talk from there.
Certainly. My name is John Martin. I'm a 28-year retired firefighter out of San Bernardino County in Southern California. And I'm currently riding my bicycle most of the way across the United States in honor of the 25-year anniversary of 9/11 next year.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you had some bike trouble today.
Yes, I had my first real bike problem today. I damaged my rear wheel, and hoping that I can get that thing fixed to keep riding tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I may be down for a day or two.
Yeah. Well, we kind of briefly spoke on the phone, and the goal here is to try to keep this conversational. Yeah. So what you're doing sounds really interesting. I guess you're biking from California to New York? Is that correct?
No, I started in Colorado Springs
Okay.
at the International Association of Fallen Firefighters Memorial.
Okay.
I worked with one gentleman that's actually on the wall for a line of duty death, and I know two others through firefighter friends that are also on the wall there.
Okay. And you're ending up in...
I started on September 11th this year,
Okay.
and I will finish on September 11th next year at Ground Zero in New York.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So this is like a whole year long thing.
366 days total, but I'm only riding and accruing my mileage that I need on 343 of those days.
Okay.
And that's in honor of the 343 fallen FDNY firefighters that were killed on September 11th.
Interesting. Yeah, so it sounds like how long have you been planning this? I mean, it sounds like you really put a lot of thought into...
Oh, the planning?
Yeah.
About 3 years.
Okay, yeah.
I started about 3 years ago, and I'd like to say I thought of everything, but I know I haven't. There's been a few small things that have come up that I went, ooh, never planned for that. But I've thought of the bigger, major things, and so far so good. Everything has been going pretty smooth. It's only been a couple of months, but yeah, so far so good.
And aside from the obvious, is there any reason that really brought this on and this desire to do this?
Well, I was on duty on September 11, 2001 when this happened, and like the rest of the world, we all watched it unfold right in front of our eyes, real time, on TV and on the internet and everywhere else, which is really weird if you think about it. In human history, that doesn't happen. It hasn't really happened until then. But so being a firefighter already, that just really hit close to home. It really hit my heart that happened, and not just for the firefighters, but just for the victims in general. Nearly 3,000 folks that are no longer with us today, that regardless of why or who thinks whatever happened, they're not here, and that, to me, that's all that matters, and they should still be alive today. But I made a promise that day to the victims. I said it out loud that I will never forget them. And for the last 24 years, I've been very proud to say that I've held true to that. And with the 25-year anniversary coming up, I just felt I needed to do something bigger and better than I normally do. Pretty much every day anyway, I honor and remember the victims in some fashion. And I'm combining it with, this is my first trip to Ground Zero. I've never been there yet.
Okay.
So I kind of coupled the two together. I didn't want to take the boring way to get there that anybody could do, which is drive or fly or whatever. And so I thought, well, how cool would that be to do it on a bike and see the country in a different way, and take longer and slow down, and what's the hurry, and be able to honor all those victims. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's really I didn't realize it was a full year that you were looking to do this.
Yes.
No,
there's a lot of the story that you don't know that you're going to hopefully learn today.
Yeah, no, it's really fascinating. That's fascinating. So I guess have you always been into biking?
Not necessarily. I mean, just for fun, casual. Riding trails and things like that. But certainly no long cross country trek or anything like that.
And we're actually in his camper right now. You sang at the Oklahoma City Fairgrounds just for 3 days. You're in Oklahoma
For 3
City.
nights, yeah.
3 nights.
Yeah.
And then
I should be leaving here on Wednesday afternoon.
okay. And do you know how many days you're going to be in Oklahoma total?
No, but it's probably only going to be for about another 2 weeks.
Okay. Well,
Somewhere down past. I think about the farthest I've looked and planned was around Purcell
okay.
or something like that, and I think it's not too much further distance-wise for me, 9 miles a day,
Yeah.
before I'll hit the state line.
And so, are you? I know you went through Perry, is that right? And Guthrie and
Yes.
Edmond.
Yes.
Tomorrow you're hitting more, or in a couple days you're hitting more.
Yes.
So are you parking, and then are you just kind of you're just doing like a 9.11 miles?
I'm doing 9.11 miles a day on the 343 days, and that comes out to right almost exactly 3,200 miles.
Yeah.
And I need 2,980 miles only, because that represents 1 mile for every victim.
Okay.
And so that's what and I'm leaving these laser engraved dog tags, which I can show you every mile of my journey. I'm hanging it on a signpost or a mile marker post out on the road,
Okay.
even going through the city.
And the deputy director at the OSFA had told me about the dog tag.
Okay.
Had I guess maybe from I'm not sure if you had run into her or if somebody maybe from her department or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're stopping at every mile marker. Or,
Yes.
Okay. So,
At the mile mark, I have an odometer on my bike, and every time I hit a mile, I'll stop and look around for the closest road sign. Not a fence post or a tree or something like that. Needs to be a sign on the road that, for all intents and purposes, is permanent. That I can fix that dog tag to and actually place it right there.
and one of the things that I find like that really kind of strikes me is this conversation we're having. You were when I called you to ask about it, you were saying that you're not doing this. What you had said was that you weren't doing this for publicity or advertising or for anything like that. You were doing it literally to never forget, to memorialize, and that you kind of saw that even though you weren't doing it for publicity or for, like, let's say Instagram or Facebook or anything
Sure.
like that,
Yes.
but you saw kind of how, like, that kind of goes hand in hand with being able to get that message out.
Yes.
Are you doing any sort of anything online for it, or is this just really like?
I subscribe to the KISS theory, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Sure.
That's what I do best.
Yeah.
So no need to make it complicated. There are better ways to do it where I could reach more people, but again, I'm not interested in that. So I'm doing a very simple Facebook post every day, just to my own Facebook page, and I have quite a few folks that are following. And then I go onto a channel that I created on YouTube, and I make a music video out of it. I take pictures every day,
Okay.
30, 40, 50 pictures a day, and I put those on Facebook, and then I take the same pictures and make a music video collage out of it on YouTube,
Okay.
post that link to the video on YouTube, on Facebook as well, and then I will take pictures of the dog tags for tomorrow's leg and list the names and show people a picture from Google Earth where my route is, and give them any notes of I'm going to be stopping at this fire department at this station or whatever, and that's all I do every day.
Yeah.
Like I said, just keep it simple, and it's for the victims. It's not for me. It's not for notoriety, publicity, or none of that. It's clicks, likes. I don't care about that stuff. If people want to follow and click stuff, great. I'll never say no, but I'm not doing it for that at all.
And you're stopping at a lot of fire stations.
I'm trying to stop at every single fire department in every single town that I go through that has one,
Yeah.
and not all of them do. And there's a lot of spans in this country where I'm between cities that there are no fire departments, which is fine. I'm still hanging my dog tags, but when I come through with a fire department, I offer a special tag to the fire department that is actually of one of the fallen 343 FDNY firefighters. The rest of the tags are what I call civilian victims, which is everyone else. And then, oddly enough, that also includes the one canine victim named Cirrus, who was the Port Authority's search and rescue dog that was killed. And I have a dog tag up here for him. And the day that I pull that and hang it somewhere, I'm going to get a little chuckle that day and go, how ironic, a dog tag for the dog. Yeah. I finally got it, you know. So I'm looking forward to when I finally reach that one.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that, the dog.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's so. You know, I guess one of the Oklahoma City bombing. A bunch of we have an event here that we do. Sure. There's a group called Wind and Fire. It's a motorcycle club made up of retired firefighters.
Okay.
And they do an event every year called Ride to Remember. And a bunch of their early years were the Oklahoma City bombing years. So now they're all kind of retired. And so, I mean, a lot of the folks that are on these apartments you're probably going to were probably in high school, maybe even.
Yeah.
You know, when it happened. So.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I was in the 7th grade. I remember I was in my math teacher's class, and so yeah, it really keeping it alive, and yeah.
I've come across very young firefighters already that weren't even born.
Yeah.
When it happened.
Yeah.
It's 24 years ago.
Yeah.
And some of these kids are 2021 now, and they only heard about it from asking questions, seeing videos, and hearing people talk about it, but they weren't here to experience it at all.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff they still don't know, and it's kind of funny when they look at you like, you were alive when that happened. Yeah, I'm not that old. Just slow down just a little bit. I'm old, but I'm not that old. Okay. So yeah, so it's weird when you run across that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of neat too, because you see that eagerness for them to like, well, tell me more, because there's not a lot that I know about it, only what I've heard. So tell me what you saw. You were there. You watched it. You know, I couldn't do that. So.
Yeah. So I get asked you questions all day. Is there any kind of part of the story that maybe that you'd want to share that I may not even know what question to answer or to ask to even kind of get you to talking about any sort of certain part of it? And if not, that's fine.
I mean, it's only been 2 months, but yeah, I've got days worth of stories just in those 2 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost something every day.
Yeah.
It might be little tiny things. I remember this one guy that said this or whatever. Or I've had a few moments where it's just completely made me cry and I couldn't talk, and you know, I mean, I can tell you, there's one particular story. I can tell you this if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Go back in time just a little bit to kind of set it up so it makes sense.
Okay.
On September 11, 2001, the day this happened, I made a promise to myself and to the victims that I would never forget them. And I also made a promise to them and to me that every single September 11th for the rest of my life, as long as I'm breathing and physically able to move and go somewhere, I will attend a 9/11 ceremony of some sort wherever I am. And I'm proud to say I've been able to do that for 24 years. So starting this year on September 11th, 24 years, I knew I had to attend a ceremony that morning before I got on my bike and started pedaling. So I found one in Colorado Springs, a couple blocks away from the monument where I actually started, or the memorial where I started. And the Air Force colonel that has been organizing this and putting this one on for 24 years at the local high school, I had talked to him about it, asked him a few questions. What's it like? What can I expect? And he kind of went through, this is what we're going to do. A few VIP people that are going to get up and talk and whatnot. And we want to call you up and introduce your story. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we'll do that. And he mentioned one of the VIP speakers was going to be the father of one of the flight attendants off of Flight 175 that flew into the North Tower. She and her family lived in Colorado Springs. She went to that high school that the memorial, the ceremony is being held at. and her father was going to get up and speak, and he's been doing it every year. So I asked him, I said, can you give me her name? I still had all 2,980 tags because I hadn't started writing until that morning. And he gave me her name. I said, can you do me a favor and ask her father if he would be willing to allow me to present his daughter's dog tag to him at the ceremony? And he said, you've got to be kidding me. I said, no, if he's willing, I would love to do that. That would be the very first tag that I placed of my entire journey. And so he said, I can tell you right now, he'll say yes, but let me ask him. Of course, he said yes. So I had about 2 weeks. This was about 2 weeks before. I had about 2 weeks to figure, how am I going to do this? What am I going to say? So I had this speech, man, and I practiced it in front of the mirror and the whole bit, and I was dialed. I was going to be the man, and I was going to give him this thing. It was going to be quite the moment. We got there. I saw he was in a wheelchair, and he was across from me where all the seating was. So I went over and told him, sir, when they call me to do this presentation of the tag, I said, I don't want you to move. I'm going to come over to you. And, oh, okay. So they call me. I go walking over there. And luckily somebody filmed it from afar, but they couldn't hear the audio, which is good. Because I got over there and I kneeled down in front of him, so I'm looking down at the ground as I'm kneeling down, and he reaches out and grabs my hand. So now he's got my hand, and I look up, and he's looking right down at me, and I just lost it. Fell apart. Couldn't breathe, couldn't talk, couldn't see. I was unstable. I couldn't hardly even be kneeled on the ground. I was going to fall over. And my mind went blank, and I'm like, what am I going to do? This is not the way this was supposed to be. And so somehow I choked out something. It seemed like it took me 20 minutes, but it probably took 30 seconds. And I said something, and I honestly cannot tell you what I said. It was probably somewhere close to what I wanted, but nowhere near what it was supposed to be. And I gave him the tag. And I had to stumble back over to my seat crying and bawling like a little baby. He got up and spoke. And one of the things he said is that he mentioned his daughter's, her kid name was Catherine. Her favorite color was purple. And I thought, purple? I think the color of her dog tag was purple. So, ceremony wrapped up. I went over to him. I was going to thank him again. Then I was going to leave and start riding. And he said, sir, can you do me a favor? Can you reach in your pocket and pull out Catherine's dog tag? Sure. He pulls it out. I said, look at it and tell me what color it is. Well, it looks like it's purple. I said, yeah. I go, what did you say her favorite color was when you were up there speaking? And he looked at that again. He looked at me. He says, how the hell did you do that? I said, I didn't. It just happened to be purple. And I lost it again. Just fell apart. I went, I got to go. And that's how my whole trip started from day one.
Yeah.
And luckily, I didn't get on my bike right there and try and ride while I was a mess. I got in my truck and drove across the city a couple blocks over to where I was. By then I could gather myself, but that's how this whole thing started. Yeah. And it's only kind of snowballed from there. And I haven't had another moment quite like that. I had one similar in Wichita for a chief of their department that lost 2 cousins in the towers. Non-firefighters, but they were civilian victims. I still had their 2 tags, and I found them the night before. And I presented them to him. And that was hard. Mm-hmm. Not quite as hard as the father of the girl, but because they're cousins, but they weren't his direct blood relative or children or anything. But yeah, so I've got things like that have already happened in just 2 months.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I have no idea what's coming, but there's going to be some more of that, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah.
And if there is, I'll just deal with it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run from it because it is kind of cool, but it is really hard.
Yeah.
But it's a good hard,
Well, and if anything, I think it really kind of hits home that we were kind of all in this together, and we still are
Yes.
as a country, and
Yes.
and we are. The world's a lot smaller than it seems like sometimes. So, yeah, it's really fascinating. I'm sure there's gonna be all sorts of emotions. I'm sure some days are probably more fun. Some days are probably more.
Yeah,
strenuous.
I hesitate to use the word to say I'm having fun, and
Sure.
this is a fun trip.
Yeah.
It's certainly not for fun. It's to honor the victims, but I don't want to be Debbie Downer on it and make it seem like it's such a somber thing either. I am enjoying this because it's kind of a cool adventure. If it really is, but it's not just to come out and have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some days that I do enjoy it a lot. The weather, the road, the scenery. And there's days that I'm looking around going, this is a bad idea. The wind, the weather, the traffic, the roads.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't feel like it. My ankle hurts, my hip hurts, whatever. But you know what? It's just all part of it. Like today, I got pretty wet this morning.
Yeah.
And a little bit cold, but I got
raining.
pretty wet. But you know what? It's days like that makes me feel like I'm earning the miles even more for the victims. Makes it more meaningful. So I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
The worst I can do is come back, change clothes, and dry off and warm up.
Yeah.
They can't do that anymore, but I can. So I'm not going to complain about it. You know, so I'll take the easy days when they come, and I'll take the hard days when they come. You know, I signed up for this. No one forced me to do this,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't complain to anybody,
Yeah.
and I won't.
Yeah, there's something really, I don't know if the word to be spiritual or just being out in nature, there's really something about the kind of human spirit that kind of comes out just even in exercising, and then you add on to it the reason you're doing this. I can see how there'd be a enlightening sense of humanity to kind of that would come out of that each kind of pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure whenever I talk to anybody that they understand that I realize I'm the face of this journey. I'm just the guy doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not doing it for me in any fashion or any way. I'm doing it for the victims, period.
Yeah.
It's for them because they can't do anything at all anymore.
Yeah.
And they haven't been able to for a long time. And that's just wrong. So it's for them. The byproduct is it makes me feel really good knowing that I'm doing this and doing a good thing, but that's just kind of a byproduct of it. And I'm not going to lie, it feels good, but that's certainly not the reason I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It just isn't. If you knew me at all, you would know this is just what I do every day. This is just John Martin being John Martin.
Yeah.
To me, it's just normal. It's not a big deal. It's just something I wanted to do, and something I could do. So why not?
So with the dog tags, are they numbered or is it?
No, each dog tag has an individual victim's name on it.
Okay, so you actually have the names on.
Yes, and I have all 2,980 tags total, but I've separated out the 343 FDNY firefighters, so
Okay.
that I can honor one firefighter every day that I ride, because I ride in
Oh,
343
shit.
days.
Gotcha.
And those are the ones that I give to the fire departments, or they're hanging out there on a road sign when there is no fire department to give it to.
Okay. Whenever I first started when we first started talking, I wanted to ask you if whenever you did it, if you had each mile, if you had somebody in mind while you were doing it, or
Mhm.
I didn't want to put you on the spot, or wondering if there was like an extra step to try to focus on a person's name each time, or to
Right.
leave a memoriam for an individual each time, or if it was each tag was kind of the same, then each one it was more representative, as opposed to almost like a tombstone in a sense.
Right.
I didn't want to put you on the spot in case that wasn't it. I was kind of hoping that was what you were doing, But I didn't want to put you on the spot. But that is what you're doing.
It's completely a random draw every day. You can, before you're done, if you like, you could take a picture of the 9 tags for, well, my next leg, whether it be tomorrow or not, it remains to be seen. But every day, the day before, I draw the 9 victims that will be honored the next day. And I don't know who they are until I get up here and grab them. I have had 2 instances already where friends that are following know somebody that was lost in the towers. And when they spotted their name going to be put out the next day, I said, well, these are the mile markers I'm going to be between. I was in the middle of Kansas somewhere, and I was using mile markers on the highway. I said, I'll be going between this number and this number. The last number, the 9th one, was not available because that's where a firefighter tag was hanging. So I said, any one of the other 8 numbers is available. Which one do you want them on? Or if it doesn't matter to you, I will tell you after I hang it, later in the afternoon when I get onto social media, I will tell you which one your person you know is hanging, and then you can tell the family or whatever, or they can come get it, or they can leave it there, whatever they want to do. So I've had 2 instances of that, which was kind of neat, but otherwise they're just randomly placed. I don't have any specific that I'm looking for to put somebody somewhere.
Sure.
Other than the firemen always go on the last one of the day, or goes to the fire department that I'm passing by. That's the only one that has any kind of specificity or assigned to it, if you will, you know. And on that note, interestingly enough, 2 days, September 13th, 2nd day in, I was going to pass by a little volunteer fire station, Ellicott, Colorado. I went up and drew the tag for the firefighter, and I looked at it, because I know some of the names, but not all of them. I can't remember 3,000 names, let alone the 343 firemen. But a few of them are very notable for different reasons. A lot of people know them. And I turned that tag over and looked at it for Ellicott Fire the next day, and it was Stephen Siller from Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, how appropriate is that? Stephen is going to a permanent home in a firehouse instead of being hung out on some mile marker post in the middle of a wheat field in Colorado, which is kind of unceremonious, but there's no other choice. There was no fire department. And so I called the foundation, and I explained who I was and what I was doing. I said, I thought you might want to know how your namesake of your foundation that you're working for, how I'm honoring him and how he's going to be honored tomorrow. And they said, well, yeah, tell me. So I told them, and I took pictures and video and everything, and I said I would send it all to them and they could use it for whatever they wanted. Advertising, publication, website, personal use, family, whatever, printed magazines, I don't really care. And they decided, they contacted me later, they thanked me, and they contacted me later and said they decided to keep it private, and all that went to the family only. So I thought, well, that's pretty appropriate. So I said, well, just so you know, he's in Ellicott, Colorado, on Highway 91, about 18 miles, 20 miles, 21. My marker 21 was right by the turn. I remember all those things. 21 miles outside Colorado Springs. If you guys ever want to send somebody out that way to the fire station, he'll be hanging on a wall somewhere, and ask him to see it, and they'll show you Stephen's tag. And you talk to him nice, you might be able to get it, and maybe they'll let you have it since you're family, so to speak, you know. And I think that'd be kind of cool if they surrendered it to the foundation. It's named after him. His family set that up, you know. So, see, that's another story I've already got.
Yeah, yeah.
That was 2 days in.
Yeah.
2 days in, 2nd day in. And I got a little over 60 some odd days I've done this, 65, 66, 68 days. So I've still got 270 days to go or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'll have more of those stories come up, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. This is really interesting. Yeah, the dog. So does the dog tag have the information? I guess I'll see it here in a second. But
yeah, one side of the dog tag is all the same. the New York skyline.
Okay.
And then it says 9/11, never forget. 9/11/01, never forget. And the backside, the top part's the same where it all says taken too soon but never forgotten. And then the bottom part is where it's individualized. Each one has a different victim's name. And that includes the two from 2023? Yeah, 2023. DNA found two more. They identified two more victims. But the families did not want their names released. And I was just having the tags made up, so I had them add two more tags, and they're just put in there, and I haven't found them yet. They're listed as unnamed, because they're not unknown, but they're unnamed. So I have two tags that say unnamed on them, and I have yet to get to those.
So are they still finding bodies? Is that?
No, they're not going to find any bodies. They're finding DNA samples, but there's no body parts or anything left anymore.
They're still finding victims, though.
Yeah, they're identifying victims because they have remains in DNA form, hair, skin, things like that. But they can't identify who it is until they run the DNA. And I guess from what they have, it's incredibly difficult and time consuming.
Idea.
Yeah, so they just found two more in 23. And so that raised the count up to the 2980 now, including the dog.
Wow.
So luckily that happened before I was locked into those tags and I was able to include them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I shouldn't say I'm happy that it happened, but I'm fortunate so I didn't miss them. Because I would have felt terrible if I missed them.
Yeah. Well, we do I don't, but they do a stair climb here every year.
Sure.
Where everybody represents somebody.
Yeah, a lot of the bigger cities do that every year.
Yeah, and it's...
Wichita, I think, was the last one that I went through that actually does it for a lot of departments from around the areas come up there and do it every year.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is here.
Yeah.
And they come and they borrow like the bell from the museum and
Sure.
some tables and stuff like that, the podium. I haven't actually had the chance to go to it. I would like to this next year be able to actually go and witness it. But I think it's great that they do it.
I was at one in San Diego and helped the organizers with giving out water and stuff, and helping being kind of medical supervisor for potential problems and stuff, But yeah, it's interesting. But their building was very short. I don't think it was only 8 stories.
They kind of had to go.
So man, they made like 9 or 10 loops.
Yeah.
And so every time they came by, they were getting more and more tired and whatnot. But but they do the same thing, equivalent of 110 floors.
Yeah.
However many laps it takes to do that. They have it all figured out and choreographed, so to speak. Yeah, but it is interesting. It's very, very patriotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where do you plan on going from here? I mean, it sounds like you have 270-ish days left.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what other states do you know what other states you plan on hitting, or are you just gonna?
Yeah, I can't give you. I mean, I have a route, and it's online, and I can show you. But if you ask me what states right now I'm going to hit, I can't list them all. But it's about 27 states total.
Okay.
That I'm going to touch. 2 states twice, Oklahoma and Kansas twice.
Okay.
Everything else is only once. Some of them are just cutting through a little tiny piece, but it counts. Because I'm actually going to roll my wheels and pedal the bike across part of their state. So yeah, but from here I'm continuing south, and and I know that New York is not south of here.
Yeah.
I do have a map and I know how to read it, and I know it's that way. But winter is also coming, and I don't need to be this far north. So south it is, and hopefully Dallas-Fort Worth will give me about a 70-degree Christmas and New Year's. I'd be happy, because then I turn around and start coming back up north. And hopefully the snow will be gone. I don't care if it's cold, but hopefully that slippery snow will be gone off the roads, and it'll be a lot better.
Yeah. And you're ending up at ground zero on.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to be visiting a few 9/11 memorial sites along the way, the Flight 93 and in Shakesville, Pennsylvania, which I've already been to anyway. And the one that everybody forgets about, very few people even know, is the one that Russia, of all countries, or of all places, Russia donated one to us in 2000 and I believe eight or nine. The Teardrop Memorial that's in New Jersey, and it's sitting on a pier that when you look through the shape of it, you're looking at ground zero. You're looking where the Twin Towers would have been standing.
Wow.
It's done on purpose.
Yeah.
And it's right across the Hudson River from it, and it's got a big teardrop thing in the middle of it, and hardly anybody knows it's there.
Yeah.
And so I got to go pay her some respect, because it's 9/11 Memorial, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to pass that up. I'm going right by there anyway to get over to ground zero. So, and the Pentagon, which I've never been to either.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ride my bike anywhere near there. I'm going to have to drive that part. It's just all freeways, and it'd be insane, probably illegal to even ride my bike around there anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to visit that as well.
Yeah. So you're making a whole year. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whole year of
Yeah.
very intentional choices.
Yeah, in my route, I had to make it zigzag across the U.S. because a straight line from Colorado Springs to New York was going to be less than 2,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I needed at least 2,980, so I said, well, I have to do something in the middle. And so I randomly started doing that, and when I finished and had the miles I needed, I looked at it and went, well, if you flip it upside down, it's almost the exact replica of a heartbeat from a heart monitor.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, well, that can represent the victims right there. That's their heartbeat that no longer beats for us today. And so that's just another way that I was able to tie part of the whole theme, into it and make it directly related to the victims.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And that was just by happenstance. I didn't do that on purpose. But I did it. I went, wow, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I think it takes somebody, thinking outside the box to even come up with something like what you're doing, and I'm sure you're gonna touch many people along the way, and then that'll just keep echoing through different people and different organizations, and so I think that what you're trying to do here, I think, is going to work. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that for the rest of their lives they're going to be able to click back to what you've done, and it'll be a spark for them to remember what you want them to remember.
Well, I hope so.
I
hope so.
I'm sure.
Because unfortunately, 24 years ago, a lot of people said they would never forget. Way too few people actually mean it, and way too many people have already forgotten. Mm-hmm. And I'm not okay with that. If you say that, you better mean that. It's very important to me, and I take that to heart. I said it and I mean it. I learned one very important thing from my dad. To be a man, you got to be a man of your word. When you give your word, you better mean it. You only have one thing in your life, really, and that's your name. And so when you give your word, you better be able to live up to it. And I gave my word, and so far so good. I've been able to live up to it, and I intend to do that until I no longer breathe them. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could sit here and probably pick your brain all day about it. I mean,
I got nothing but time.
Yeah.
Well, until they text me about my bike, but that's probably not for another hour or two. So.
Yeah. Let me check this out. I think
it doesn't matter to me.
I think it's
obviously
it's
you're
still
not gonna
recording.
use everything here anyway.
I might. Yeah. I think I might.
Yeah.
I might just upload it raw. Yeah, I'm not seeing any reason to cut anything out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it looks like it's still recording fine. So
Okay, cool.
it's a new camera, so I haven't had a
Okay,
lot of
yeah.
experience with it. My old camera, even she would shut off after about 20 minutes.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but this one I think can record for like up to 2-3 hours.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure it doesn't like.
Well,
cut
you got
out
room
me.
on the card.
Yeah, I think the card's good. The battery looks like it's good. So
Okay, cool.
yeah. Yeah. So do you have any other stories, or I mean, I could ask you leading questions, but what originally? You said you started thinking about this about 3 years ago,
Yes.
and was there any reason in particular? I'll pop this right here. Just kind of sitting there. Was there anything particular that?
I'm chuckling because this what a segue this is. This leads into a whole nother part of my life and a whole nother story that to me is even bigger than this, because it happened even before I walked across the United States. Finished 2 years ago. There's so much to this story, it is unbelievable. Again, it wasn't even for me. I was doing it to help a friend. It was his idea. He needed help. At the time we started this walk together, he was 95 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to walk from Georgia to California in 5 years and finish on his 100th birthday, which eventually sort of happened. And if you want, we can get into that story, but this whole thing isn't about that story. But the point being, while we were driving from California back to Georgia to start that walk, I had mentioned to my friend's name is Ernie. He's a World War II Navy veteran. While we're driving, I had mentioned to him, you know, Ernie, I had a retirement plan. Because I retired 4 years early just to go on that trip. Because that sounded like a lot more fun than working 4 more years.
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled the plug and said, let's go. So while we're driving, I said, Ernie, I had a retirement plan, but you came along and upset my apple cart, and I retired in December instead of in September on the 11th like I wanted to do. And I said, I'm never going to be able to get that back. That's always going to be in the back of my mind for the rest of my life. Just bothering me, going, you had a great plan, but man, no regrets on what I did, but I missed out on this really cool opportunity in this perfect retirement. And I said, Ernie, I don't know what I'm ever going to be able to do to fill that void. It's always going to be there. It's just going to eat at me a little bit. But it won't cause me to go insane, but it'll always be nagging at me. And he goes, why don't you do your own walk? Why? I have no reason to walk or do. I didn't even want to do this walk. You needed help and it sounded fun, so I'm coming to do it for you and with you. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I go, what? If I did, what would I do it for? He goes, you'd think of something. No, I said, that's ridiculous, you know. Well, for the next 3 months, that kept replaying in my head. Every night I'd lay down and I'm like, God, Ernie's talking about me doing a walk. What? No, that's ridiculous. After about 3 months, I went, you know what? Why not? Why not? But what would I do it for? Another few weeks go by and I'm like, I think by the time this walk is over, it'll be 2 years for the 25-year anniversary of 9/11. I could do it for the 25-year anniversary of 9/11. That's how it all started. Mm-hmm. And then for the next 6 months, every day, every night in the back of that RV, I was scheming and planning and looking at maps and coming up with numbers and doing calculations. And 3 years later, here I am in Oklahoma City, mm-hmm. 2 months into this harebrained scheme, but again, no regrets.
Yeah, I was thinking,
that's where it came from.
Yeah,
it came from somebody else. It didn't even come from me. The seed that started it came from this crazy old man that he likes to be called.
Ernie?
Yeah, it came from Ernie.
Yeah.
So I thank him every day for it.
Yeah.
He's still with us. He's 102.
Oh, okay.
By the way.
I was, okay.
Yes, 102 in California,
right, so,
still kicking.
All right.
And I plan on when he turns 103 on August 19th when I'm in New Jersey. Uh-huh. if he makes it that far, heaven forbid, and I'm too far to drive. It'll take me 2 weeks to go back and forth. I don't have that kind of time, but I'm going to fly back to California for one day for his birthday.
Okay.
And then fly back and get back on it and finish.
Yeah. Is he tickled by the fact that you are doing this?
Yeah. And I've been with him for every one of his birthdays since his 95th.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not missing this one. I'm not missing what could be his last one. I'm never going to miss his last one. I'm always going to be there. So.
Yeah. So he's rooting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I figured you would have had to have really put some effort into the fact that the dog tags are all individualized. Just that alone isn't something you can do overnight.
Well, I knew I wanted to leave something on the side of the road every mile. I came up with that really quick. But what I was going to leave, I had no idea. I asked friends and family and all kinds of people, give me suggestions. I don't care how crazy it is, give me a suggestion. Maybe something will spark something. And I had the most insane ideas, and I had funny ideas, I had stupid ideas, but I entertained them all. And it came down to, the painted rocks was interesting, but I'm like, I'm not going to paint all those rocks. How long would it take me? Oh, and I have to carry them.
Yeah.
How big are these rocks? How heavy are these rocks?
Yeah.
Can I put 3,000 of these rocks in my trailer and carry them? Come on. That's going to get out of control. So things like that were totally out of it. Little popsicle stick crosses and stuff. I'm like, yeah, those will be there for like 4 days and just get destroyed. And so that's no good. What if I can't stick them in the ground? What if it's all concrete and I'm in the middle of the city? Sidewalks, asphalt, what am I going to do? So I ended up settling on these dog tags. I went, you know what? I'll get a chain and dog tag and I can hang them on signs. What the heck?
Yeah.
Is it legal technically? No. Do I care? No.
Yeah.
Have I asked permission? No.
Yeah.
Am I ever going to get in trouble for it? No. I've already ran across troopers watching me do it and they go, what are you doing to my sign? Let me tell you and let me show you. And they're just like, oh, great. I didn't see a thing. Carry on.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's not affecting anything.
Yeah.
Other than the looky-loos that don't like it might come rip them off after I ride away. And if they do, they do. I can't control that.
Yeah.
But I'm leaving them up. And I know that when I left, I put one there and I represented that victim. And I moved on. So
Yeah.
I'd like for every single one of them to stay there for eternity.
Yeah.
If they could. To me, that's their final resting place. One of their final resting places, because they're already somewhere else, wherever their family has put them. Some of them, not all of them. They still have, I think they still have well over 1,000 that are unidentified.
Really?
The remains that they have yet to find anything to identify, like over 1,000 names. They just go, well, they're somewhere. And they may never recover DNA of some of them at all.
Yeah.
But they know who they are, but to have an actual physical something they may never recover. And that's a shame.
Yeah. Yeah. One of these days down the road you'll be able to kind of double back and see, I'm sure.
I will. I'll remember my route, believe me. And I would love to be just driving down the road looking over at all these signs going, oh, that one's still there. Oh, that one's there. Oh man, these two are gone. Oh well. And they're going to, the weather in Kansas and here with the wind and everything, the wind is going to blow some of them off. There's no doubt. Those chains are cheap little chains. They're going to rust. They're going to get weak, and that 80 mile an hour wind is just going to blow it off of there. But hopefully it lasts for several years before that happens.
Yeah.
Somebody may see it on there and go, well, I don't know what that is, but that doesn't belong on that sign. They'll take it off, throw it in the trash without even looking at it. Can't control that either.
There's going to be a lot of folks that look at it and investigate, and it'll spark some curiosity in them. Or
I've had a lot of people watch me put them up in the middle of a city, and I'm always expecting somebody to come go, what are you doing? What is that? And not make a confrontation out of it, like, what are you doing? Which I don't care if they did anyway. I wouldn't get confrontational back. Well, let me tell you what I'm doing. Let me show you what I'm doing. But no one's come up and said, hey, what you doing there, man? I saw you doing that. It's kind of weird. What is that? Man, let me tell you what it is. Let me show you what it is. And I'm sure they'd be like, wow, that's pretty cool. Good for you. Well, thank you. Now I need to move on to the next one. I got more to do.
Yeah.
I have another dog tag story for you.
Okay.
This one hasn't happened yet, but it will. One of two ways. There are two eventual endings for this tag. And this tag is the final tag I'm going to place. And I've known exactly who this tag was going to be for 2 years. I researched and found the oldest first responder killed at 71 years old. His name is William Feehan. He has the incredible distinction that probably will never, ever be done again. It could be, but it probably never will. During his career with the FDNY, he was an FDNY battalion, or deputy fire commissioner, basically assistant fire chief. He has the distinction of holding every single position within the FDNY, from the bottom to the top, all the way up to fire commissioner, fire chief, during his career. He stepped down several years before 9/11 and allowed a new fire commissioner to come in, and he was one step down. They both were killed in the South Tower on 9/11. He has a son by the name of John that currently works as a battalion chief for FDNY. His son John joined the FDNY, became a fireman because of his dad, because he was a very young boy when that happened. I've been trying for nearly 2 years to get a hold of John. So far unsuccessful, but I'm this close right now. Closest I've ever been. But I still have 10 months, so I'm not giving up. My desire is to present his dad's dog tag to him in person, in the footprint of the South Tower reflecting pond at Ground Zero on September 11th, the 25-year anniversary. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to ask his son if I can do. Or another family member, because he has other children, and his wife, I think, is still alive. If that doesn't have, that's the first option. The second option is, if it goes to option 2, it's a definite. That one I know will happen. There's no question. From the corner of the South Tower, 45-degree angle across the intersection from the World Trade Center memorial site, according to Google Earth, 274 feet away, I'm big on numbers, is Firehouse 10. Still an active firehouse for FDNY. Of course, the first to respond to the incident, because they literally walked out the door and they were there. Next to the fire station or firehouse, they have a mural and a big 9/11 museum set up. Takes up the whole block. I will walk across the street to Firehouse 10, knock on the door, and ask if at least one of their guys can come with me and walk 274 feet away back to where their assistant fire chief or fire commissioner was killed, and present the tag to them there. If they can't do that, then I will give it to them at the firehouse. I don't care. And say, this is for Mr. Feehan, and you guys display it however you wish, but probably put it in your little museum right next door or whatever you want to do. But that's the backup. But I'd be okay with that. But I really want to present it to his son. And that's what I'm trying to get a hold of him for. And I really hope I can reach him. But like I said, I'm this close. I'm just so close to him. I've left a voicemail for him, but he hasn't responded. So next is an email. But I wanted to wait about a month. I don't want to bug him. I'll wait about a month. So next month I'll shoot him an email and just spill it all out and see if he responds.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, doing what you're doing, I'm sure there's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if he hears about it at some point. Even, I'm sure there's probably a lot of like family members and folks that were really close to it
Yeah.
that are probably going to hear about it in the coming months. Have you had? I know you said that there was a couple, like the day one, and there's a few other folks with the cousins. Have you had anyone else that was family member wise or anything like that?
No. The chief in Wichita was the next closest one to that with cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, a couple folks on Facebook said that they have friends in New York of theirs that lost a direct family member, whether it was a brother, daughter, son, uncle, whoever it was. That's the next closest kind of relation that I've had so far. But I never would have expected I was going to run across a guy working for a fire department that lost two cousins either. I never could have guessed that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
That just hit me. That actually hit me the night before. And I was talking to another fireman at another fire station there in Wichita about presenting the dog tag to the department tomorrow. And he said, hey, one of our chiefs lost two cousins in the towers. I said, really? What chief? And he gave me his name. I said, is there any way I can get the cousins' names? I may still have their tags, or I may have already placed one or both of them. I don't know. I can't keep track.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd already placed 500 or 600 tags at that point. And so he texted the chief. Chief texted him pictures and names of his two cousins. So I went, okay, cool, thank you. I didn't say anything. I just went back to the trailer. I immediately went up and grabbed, I have 4 bags with the civilian tags in them. I just randomly grabbed one bag and went, I'm going to start looking.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go through 2,600 tags, whatever I got left, until I see if I could find one, both, or none of them. And if I can't find them, I was going to go through my daily posts every day until I see where they were, so that I could tell this chief where his cousins are at. I went through about 300 tags and I found them both. So I called the fire chief back that afternoon. I said, Chief, I have a special request regarding tomorrow's presentation that I was going to make to your department. I need you to make sure that, I think it was Chief Winton, anyway, whatever the chief's name was, I need you to call him and request that he personally attend. I have a special personal side presentation that I need to make to him. That's all I'm going to tell you, and that's all you need to tell him. Please do your best to see if he could be there. He said, all right, I'll try. He's off duty, but he lives real close, so he goes, I'll see. So I got there that next morning, met the chief, and one of the first things I asked him, is Chief so-and-so here? Yeah, he's right over there. Cool. So we did our thing with the department, and then I called him over and said, Chief, I've got a special presentation just for you. And I gave him his cousin's dog tags. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty hard too. Not quite as hard as the father's daughter tag, but it was still pretty tough. I was choking myself through it. And somebody, I think, did video that one. I can't remember. No, the guy was supposed to, and he didn't hit the button. That's right. Mm-hmm. Couldn't work my GoPro. Very simple. One button.
Yeah.
One button. Couldn't push it. Really?
Yeah, I keep looking back to this, being like, it is. Okay, yeah, it's like him behind the thing. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's on its last. It is. It's on its last battery.
Oh, okay.
Line. Yeah, I mean, did you have one last story you'd want to? I'm sure. I think for anyone that's watching this, we're definitely going to send it out to our members and everything like that. And is that this is an ongoing thing? This is not. You're going to be doing this for months.
10 more months.
And I know that I'm definitely going to pop on and see where you're at, you know, through until then. I'm sure a lot of the folks that this gets you, I'm sure a lot of the stations that you're stopping at, I'm sure that they will too. I'm sure they're gonna want to see just kind of where this story
Yeah, I've
goes.
gotten quite a few folks that have got my Facebook and the YouTube, and they're subscribed to the YouTube and they're following me because they said they want to. They may not follow every day for the next 10 months, but they said, I want to make sure and see you when you get to New York anyway.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, I'll check in with you next September and see where the heck you're at.
Yeah.
You know, and there's quite a few of them that are still watching mostly from Kansas, but a handful already from Oklahoma as well. So I've only been in Oklahoma this far on the map. I was in Kansas for this far.
Yeah. Well, what's the name of the YouTube and your Facebook? So maybe I can.
Facebook is just John Martin.
Okay.
But if you search for John Martin on Facebook, good luck. Surf through the 2.5 million of us that are on there, and you might find me. The best way that I found is under the web address up at the top in the search for your browser. If you type in facebook.com/343 never forget, because that's actually my Facebook name. That's what I signed up with.
343.
I mean, and that was like in 2008.
Yeah.
When I finally got Facebook, and that's what I signed on. Just so you know that never forget.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not lip service from me. That was my Facebook name, and then it changed. I changed it to actually John Martin. But anyway, if you type that in, you'll go straight to me.
Okay.
The YouTube is 9/11: A Journey to Remember.
Okay.
And I can't remember if you have to put the spaces in between it or not. That I can't remember.
Yeah, probably not on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to link it down below.
Okay.
For anything we do.
Yeah. Well, before you leave, we'll type it in and actually see. But I don't search for myself, so I can't remember.
Sure.
But I do know you have to put the @ symbol, and then 9/11: A Journey to Remember. And I honestly don't think caps matters, and I don't think the spaces matter either.
No. Yeah, there shouldn't be any spaces there. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
Especially YouTube.
But that'll take you straight to the YouTube channel as well. And I have the daily posts for the Facebook and the YouTube every single day.
Okay.
I've already done it for today, and I'm holding off on tomorrow's leg because I don't know if I'm doing it yet because of the bike issues.
This is the first bike issue you've had?
Major issue, yeah. I've had flat tires and had to change the tires already, but this is the first, call it mechanical, and it was not good.
Yeah, at least you're in the bigger city.
At least there's somebody here that can address it.
Yeah.
It could have happened, in Podunk nowhere, and I could have been like, well, I guess I got to drive 200 miles to a bike shop, which I would have done.
Yeah.
If I got to do what I got to do.
And then double back. Or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You gotta adapt and overcome something like this.
Yeah.
That's why I don't make too rigid of a plan too far ahead.
Yeah.
Because there's way too many variables that can happen. If I set this hard schedule up and something upsets it, my OCD kicks in and that makes it even worse. Now I'm like, oh, my gosh, it was supposed to be like this, and now what am I going to do? I don't need to worry like that. I'm retired. I don't get stressed out over stuff anymore. You just go roll with the punches and you figure it out.
Yeah.
You take care of what the problem is, and then you move on and go, okay, what do I have to do now to get back to where I want to be?
Yeah.
It's really not that hard. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's probably. I think that's a story right there.
It is a story. I'm not gonna lie. It's a pretty cool story, but again, quite honestly, it's just what I do. It started with the walk across the country. So many people want to attach words. It's what we do. We're human. We use words. But they want to attach these words, spectacular, wonderful, awesome, amazing, and all this stuff. Okay, but no, that's not me. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm just a regular guy doing regular guy stuff that I do every day. To me, it's none of those things. And I don't want to build any of this up, and even this story, I don't want to build it all up into this fantastic thing that it's not. Because to me, it's not. It's just, to me, this is what everybody should be doing every day anyway. Everybody should ride their bike across the United States for 9/11. Why the heck not?
Yeah.
Doesn't it have to be the 25-year anniversary? Do it every day.
Yeah.
I don't care if you take a year, 6 years, or 2 weeks to do it. To me, it's just like the right thing to do. It's natural. So, So yeah, I always deflect all these, and I just call them those uncomfortable words.
Yeah.
Because they make me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I understand where people are coming from. I'm not naive to that, and I don't want to take anything away from them. You're free to think that it's amazing and wonderful and all this stuff, and that's cool, and thank you. But it's really not. To me, it's not. And that's where sometimes we clash, and I usually come away just going, let's just agree to disagree, and we're cool, right? We'll go our own ways. We're not mad at each other. We're friends, and you can think what you want, and I'm going to think what I want, and it's usually good. We kiss and make up.
Well, I think if anything, I'll leave here believing that your goal of reminding people of this and giving them another catalyst to latch onto, to never forget. You're going to drop those seeds every day. You're doing this.
I hope so.
I mean,
I hope so.
it's definitely going to happen. Like, so I mean, for that reason alone, it's not a flavor of the day. It's not just that here's today's news story. It's going to be something that they're going to remember, that in January and February somebody came by and there's just something that they were doing, and what was it that they were doing, and then they're going to, it's always going to, like you're saying, it's going to point back to 9/11.
That would be okay if they remember it, but I would ask that they don't remember it for me.
Yeah.
Don't remember John Martin. Who cares about my name? They can forget my name. This guy came by, and what was it for? Oh, it was for 9/11.
That's exactly what they're.
That's what I want
gonna,
them to remember. I want them to conjure up that it was 9/11 and never forget the victims of 9/11. Not who I am or whatever. Remember them and not me, and I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. If any of this ever ended up in say a record book of some kind, tell the story, and I'll give you the whole story. You can print it, put a little asterisk at the end of it, and in the back of the book where the footnotes are, this story was presented by some guy. Hey, I'm some guy. That's all we need. You don't need my name. You don't need nothing, because I don't care. It's not about the notoriety or publicity for me. I'll be some guy, and leave me in the shadows and in the dark in the corner, because that's under the radar. That's where I like to exist. I'm more comfortable there. So.
Well, we'll go ahead and we'll leave it with that. But
cool.
I think
turn that thing off. Done.
Yeah.
Cut.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you talking with us.
No problem.
I'm gonna get shots of all this stuff.
Take some pictures of that stuff, and that way.